How's it going, guys? Hope you're having a good Memorial Day weekend. Every 4 to 6 weeks on my website, I update what I call my Quantum 8, and these are a group of 8 different quantum stocks that range from mega tech large cap companies like Microsoft and IBM and Amazon to quantum pure plays, and I rank them a similar thing to the Magnificent Seven. It was kind of my nod to that. So this is my Quantum 8 for June 2025. So if you head over to thequantumbull.com and you click on invest and you scroll down, right here, you see the Quantum 8 is my nod to the Magnificent Seven. It's a blend of large cap and small cap tickers to own to maximize ROI on the quantum revolution. So this is where you would find the list. I'm not going to give it away in the video, but here is where that list is. I also keep previous rankings. So if you want to go and see how I've ranked quantum investments in previous months, then that is there to go look at it. And it does change pretty frequently. So it's kind of fun to track this and do this. So here's the first update in 6 weeks on the Quantum 8. Okay, at rank 8, I have SealsQ, LAES, and let's take a look. So SealsQ is based in Europe and they make quantum resistant products.
Quantum technology is progressing at an unprecedented pace, driven by the needs of AI and blockchain that require huge computational power. In 2024, the first commercially operational quantum systems made their appearance on the market: Google Willow, IBM Heron, D-Wave's HQS.
I like the video and I like scrolling through the site. So LAES is my number 8. Number 7, Microsoft. So Microsoft has recently done some work on their quantum area of their website. I like the marketing language here. 8 billion reasons to build a quantum supercomputer. Our growing global footprint of 8 billion people requires new innovations to reverse climate change and address food insecurity. Scientists are on a mission to make discoveries that will solve humanity's hardest problems. Very nicely written there, and they have some graphics. And what I really like about Microsoft's site is they show where they are and their milestones. So they've completed their Majorana 1 chip, and now they're doing hardware protected qubits, and their next milestone is high quality hardware protected qubits. Microsoft release of this chip did create some debate in the scientific community, so I want to just acknowledge that there hasn't really been a strong rebuke from Microsoft on that, at least that I'm aware of. So that's why they lost another spot on the Quantum 8. All right, number 6, I have Amazon. And Amazon has announced their Ocelot quantum computing chip in February 27th of 2025. And their Ocelot quantum chip reduces the cost of implementing quantum error correction by up to 90% compared to current approaches. And this press release was okay, but I was actually really impressed with Amazon Bracket. So I think they've made a substantial update to their quantum computing research piece here. But as I scroll down, I just want to it just looks like a normal web page at first. Benefits of Bracket: accelerate scientific discovery, trusted cloud, priority access, use cases, test different quantum hardware, build quantum software faster, develop open codes software. And now we're at this interesting part of the webpage where we're looking at some cards. Fidelity created quantum proofs of concept for financial asset management, and then Pascal built their Quebec computational software to run chemistry simulations. And now you're almost immersed in these quantum hardwares and these quantum companies, and they're doing some really great storytelling. And it looks like they're really strong in bridging the software. So bring software for quantum computing to market rapidly with Amazon's brackets software development kit, simple pricing and workflow management. So very, very strong quantum web presence. And look at that. They're now offering 1 hour of free simulation time per a month with the Amazon Web Services free tier. So I said this about IBM before, but if any of you have a use case for this and try it and leave a comment explaining how you used it and how it was different from a classical computer in speed or what problem you were able to solve, I'll definitely mention it on the show in the future. So there's a 10-minute one for IBM. It seems like you couldn't do much with 10 minutes, but Amazon, an hour, that's pretty generous. All right, let's look at number 5 on the quantum watch list. So I just write my notes for the rank change, and Regetti has had consistently weak earnings, and they're a self-proclaimed R&D company. So they've moved down the list a little bit. They lose a rank because, quite simply, there's more commercial and stronger competitors in the quantum space currently. So Regetti at number 5, and just a quick look at their website. Really love how they lay out the chandelier and the different temperature stages, mixing chamber, QPU, and then what's cool about Regetti is they're building all of these components and they're going to sell them to other quantum computer companies. They've built it in a way that it's scalable and modular, which is very, very wise. As you can see, there's a lot of competition in this space. And if you have a company that's building high quality hardware, are they going to be the next Nvidia of quantum? Who knows? Like it's hard to move them too far down because the ceiling is so high for what they're doing. They're building high quality quantum computers and they're modular, and you can split them apart. You could take the QPU, you could take just this piece or that piece. They'll give them pricing flexibility and revenue streams sooner maybe than even we think. So and by their own CEO's words, they are an R&D company and don't expect significant commercial revenue for 2 to 3 years. So that's the only reason I move them down, is just other companies are making more money. They have partners like NASA, Oxford, Phasecraft, and you can find Regetti on Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, Rigetti's cloud. So they have some good distribution. I also really liked this, and this is simple, but this is their mission. This is their about page. We're on a mission to build the world's most powerful computers to help solve humanity's most important pressing problems. Regetti is an integrated systems company. We build quantum computers and the superconducting quantum processors that power them. Through our cloud services, our machines can be integrated into any public, private, or hybrid cloud. And I love just a design note. I just love the space that is used here. And then we go immediately into leadership. And that's where we have Dr. Kulkarni. And they're very conservative with what they put on their news. When they closed that $35 million investment here with Quanta Computer, that was back. And so that's been about a month, but $35 million, they don't make a lot of money. So that's a significant amount of money. Let's take a look now at number 4, which is Google. So they lost a spot in the Quantum 8 and they have attractive pricing in the market, and their PE is really good. So they have a relatively low price to earnings, and especially compared to other Mag 7 companies. And what I like about Google also is that you can get the exposure to quantum, but with the support of many other quality business pillars like Google Ads and YouTube, what you're watching this on right now, and Waymo and all the other things. Like Google's just a beast, and they deserve to be traded at a higher stock price at this current moment, but that's here nor there. All right, and let's take a look at Google's Willow, our state-of-the-art quantum chip. This has been making the rounds for a long time. And then What's more impressive about Google is they're really focusing on the quantum AI aspect. And you really saw that in Google I/O with all the focus on AI. So if they can supercharge Gemini, or you have Gemini that's powered by a quantum computer, that would be pretty crazy. Our mission is to build quantum computing for otherwise unsolvable problems. And it's a big complaint that people have as well about, like, Siri, for example, is just like, I can't ask Siri to do basic things. It's a glorified, just really bad robot, where something like ChatGPT with their voice model, it's conversational, and it's scary how good the voices are, and it's scary how much context can be brought into any conversation and how complex the question. And that's already available in ChatGPT. I haven't tried Gemini too much, but I think a lot of people have been impressed with what they released to the public. So Google has their quantum AI, and it's their state-of-the-art. Their quantum computing roadmap doesn't have specific dates in their milestones. They want to build a long-lived logical qubit, create a logical gate, engineering scale-up. So it's just hard to know what that timeline actually looks like. So they are number 4. Number 3 is IBM, and I was really pleasantly surprised when I was looking at IBM. So a couple things to think about with IBM is they've been doing quantum for a while, and they're very good at it, and they have a lot of quantum computers installed around the world. So think of them as like kind of the first mover that gets overlooked in this race. They want to, in 2024, 5K gates on 156 qubits. They want to release quantum HPC tools that will leverage Nighthawk. And they want to, in 2026, demonstrate the first example of a quantum advantage and fault-tolerant module. So they have some dates, and they have very specific goals. I looked for this article here, and IBM has earned $1 billion from quantum. I think that's something that is really not something people think about, that IBM isn't the first company, but they're one of the best companies at quantum when you look at what matters a lot to investors, which is money. Show me the money. So let's read this. IBM has booked $1 billion in revenue from quantum technology, with expectations for substantial future growth as the company focuses on transformative technologies like quantum and AI. So we just kind of have to focus on words like that. We have to read between the lines. So if IBM, who's already making this much money, is projecting lots more growth in the future, then that in itself is a tailwind for the smaller companies that are in the race, that are aggressively trying to get their foot in the door. When a company as big as IBM is projecting substantial future growth, that bodes well for a sector. Especially since they're one of the first movers here. So IBM officials have told CNBC that the company has booked a cumulative $1 billion over the years. So this is a cumulative, and they expect quantum to bring in a lot more in the future. IBM also called out in its investor newsletter in Q4 of 2024 with a series of highlights, including the launch of its most advanced quantum computers, driving progress toward quantum advantage. And the company announced collaboration to establish the National Quantum Algorithm Center, expanding its quantum footprint. And this one was interesting to me, so I highlighted this. With more than 75 quantum systems deployed worldwide, our focus on emerging innovation is clear, Krishna said during their earnings call. This quarter, we announced a collaboration with the state of Illinois to establish the National Quantum Algorithm Center in Chicago. Okay, we just saw that. So they're not only all over the world with their quantum computers, but they're actively investing in centers and moving the industry forward in other ways. All right, number 2 is IonQ, and that rhymes, and you know that IonQ has been a leader in this race. They have a fantastic website. They have what appears to be great leadership, and they're solely focused on quantum. So this is a quantum pure play in the market. And recently, their CEO, Nicolo Di Masi, on a recent interview said they think that it's very likely they'll be the Nvidia of quantum. On my personal opinion, I think Rigetti, since they have that hardware focus and Nvidia is more hardware focused, I think Regetti has more of a chance of being that. But I think IonQ is no slouch. They have a massive website, a bunch of different products and solutions, and they are onboarding people all the time. So it's very easy to leave your information, and they have really cool website and great storytelling. As I scroll through here, you can learn about these machines. So this is modern web design like you would expect to see on a site like apple.com or something like that. So really classy to have like that high level of attention to detail for design. And then also the company itself has very strong leadership, and they are one of the consistently revenue generating quantum pure plays. All right, finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Number one, D-Wave. So D-Wave holds number one with their release of the Advantage 2 quantum computer and continued acceleration in growth. So they did beat on their earnings substantially. The question remains, can they do it again quarter over quarter? I think that's the question that probably Wall Street is asking at this time. And a lot of these quantum companies, especially the pure plays, are trading at many hundreds of times price to earnings. Like, we need to be clear on that these are very expensive names to hold. Like people who are buying quantum at this point, that there is a detachment for some of the stocks themselves from the fundamentals if you're strictly looking at the finances. However, if you believe that quantum will grow and will grow rapidly in the next 3, 5, 10 years, then maybe this is the lowest price you're ever going to get on a technology like that. So that's also something to keep in mind as these companies compete. And there's definitely, the competition is heating up. We saw Nvidia enter this race in a pretty aggressive way by commissioning a private company like Quantinuum. So the race is heating up. And so it is a big decision what company to put at number one. And at this point, I think it's number one with an asterisk. They still have a lot to prove. They need to build their gate system, as they say they're going to, and they need to sell more systems or have more revenue on the cloud. Now, there's this long article here from ZDNet, which was just so well written. And this video would be really long, but I almost want to make a separate video on this, but I'm just going to give you guys the highlights of the highlights. The general availability of Advantage 2 follows years of testing on prototype versions. 25 of the top 2,000 global corporations, including MasterCard, Japanese telecom giant entity Docomo, are already using the machine, said Baratz. The company is also working, this is D-Wave, is working on how to train generative AI models, such as large language models. You could envision hyperscalers buying these systems to be a part of the AI infrastructure as well. The Advantage 2 was compared against the Frontier supercomputer running at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory of the US Department of Energy. Baratz is unfazed by the recent raft of announcements from deep-pocketed tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. None of these three are competition to us currently because they're all gate model and we're annealing, and they are different applications. And then we have an interesting quote here. As for Microsoft's Majorana 1 chip, which has generated controversy in the field, and this is Dr. Baratz's words, not mine, it was a sham. He said they did not demonstrate even 1 qubit, let alone 8. We know that D-Wave is a global leader in quantum computing. We know that in quantum annealing, they're experts, and there is a lot of potential that they continue to build out more powerful systems and gain more clients. And the stock right now is trading at about 1880 at close. And some of the companies in the stock market that are trading in that 10, 20, 30, 40 range make a hell of a lot more money than D-Wave, a hell of a lot more. So it is expensive. It's an expensive stock, but I think a lot of people see the potential, including me, and want the best for the company. Has the price detached from reality? Yes. Will the stocks grow into their shoes? Quite possibly. So let's leave it at that. That's the Quantum 8. So head over to thequantumbull.com/invest if you'd like to see the Quantum 8 for yourself, or take a look around. I built the Quantum Bull specifically to a wide audience. So whether you want to imagine the possibilities, learn about quantum computers, read the latest news, or invest, it's all here. So the dream page would be more geared towards people who just want to imagine what the possibilities are going to be like in the future. The learn page is an amalgamation of different YouTube videos and some of the high-level concepts that I've curated and try to lay out to explain like fundamental concepts. And then the news page, this might as well be called the analyst page, because we're not the Quantum Insider. We're not. Occasionally we write pretty decent analysis pieces. So this one here, Nvidia's quantum pivot creates massive tailwinds for quantum stocks. So we know that quantum stocks have been up 30-40% in a week, some even more than that. And Nvidia's participation in the race for quantum definitely has helped with that. And then finally, there's investing, and this is where the Quantum 8 is. So quick little deviation to show off the website, and it's mobile friendly as well. So go check it out. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this content and have a great one.